What's up, KMA Land? Sports Director Derek Martin here with you today. Middle of the week, Wednesday Word coming at you. Went to the state softball tournament in Fort Dodge. You might think it might be about softball today, but it's not, sadly. Sorry. Actually, on my way to Fort Dodge, I stopped in a little town called Carroll. Had an opportunity to speak with former Shenandoah Activities Director, former head football coach P.J. Hedrington, who worked his way throughout Southwest Iowa, coaching in a lot of different places, Adair Casey Atlantic, and of course Clarinda Academy before getting to Shenandoah. P.J. Hedrington, a lot of you know his story. If you read Chuck Offenberger's story on him last spring, has been through some adversity in his life. He's had a lot of adverse times, but he's fought through it every single time. A lot of people might say his situation in Shenandoah about a year ago was also adversity, and he has fought through that. As we've come to learn, as I learned yesterday, as I have talked with PJ throughout the last year or so, he's doing just fine fighting through that adversity. So, the Wednesday word today, adversity. You're in your Kuemper shirt, obviously, here at Carroll now. Can you kind of just talk about what you've been doing this past year in Carroll, what kind of duties you have here at Kuemper?
Okay. I teach K through 5 physical education, and I coach 3 sports. I just got promoted to weight room coordinator, so now I'm in charge of male athletics as far as lifting in season, out of season. And I'm also in charge of some middle school lifting, and I coordinated with a good young coach, Ryan Steinkamp, who does the girls sports. So that's kind of the rundown of kind of the duties, and then we have a theme here, duties as assigned. So I really had the opportunity to do some other things as well, so help out.
I remember when you first got hired here, you were hired for like a basketball job, and I was kind of like, "What do you know about basketball?" tell us about your experience this year in that.
Yeah, last year, like I said, I coached 3 sports. I had the great opportunity to work with wonderful kids. So right after football season, I had 7th grade girls basketball, and as we all know, dealing with middle school girls and coaching them is a different world sometimes. And so I had the ability and the chance to get an opportunity to work with some great kids, great athletes. And more so than that, they were great Christians, and we got a chance to share our faith together, and we had fun. We had a blast. So,
the football season was obviously a very successful one. Tell us about that, working kind of as an assistant there for Coach Chad Klein and getting a chance to go as far as you guys went.
Well, it's a great opportunity because the staff it's a good staff, a good young staff, and Chad's in his first year. He was in his first year as a head coach, so he's learning things and sharing ideas and having that experience within a successful program, like an Atlantic or an Adair Casey. So really, there's not much difference when you go through a successful program like a Kuemper. It's really kind of the same as far as what your expectations are and the level that's expected from you as a coach.
You look at St. Albert, that's a little west of here, obviously. They always seem to have I'd say a graduate of St. Albert on the staff, and their staff is always made up of St. Albert grads. Kuemper they reach out for a lot of different, but then their coaches have been leaving here quite a bit. You lost 2 coaches, I think, in a short amount of time, and then Scotty Fadevon, your offensive coordinator last year, left for a bigger job. And now you mentioned they kind of maybe have changed that a little bit. There's a lot of Kuemper style on that football staff.
Yeah, we've got a handful of Kuemper alumni that are tied to the program. We try to do a good job of bringing those alumni back to the community to help out. So that also keeps a strong faith value with our kids, and it helps with a lot of repetition as far as the kids knowing those type of coaches. So that it helps a lot.
Except you, of course, you did not graduate from Kuemper. So how did you get in here?
Like I said, I was blessed with the opportunity to spend some time at Shenandoah and some other schools. And of course the unfortunate thing in Shenandoah, and it opened up a wonderful door here at Kuemper, and I learned just so much, and being here and around motivated people that have high expectations.
Speaking of Shenandoah, I guess before we get into kind of your situation from a year and change ago, one of the guys you hired there, I think the first hire that you made or you were part of making as the athletic director at Shenandoah was Chad Van Houten, the volleyball coach, and of course the tragic news about him last week. You and Chad were friends. Can you talk about the lasting legacy he left?
Yeah, it's just amazing the amount of respect and love and care that he had for the community and the kids, and more so for any individual. I mean, he worked at the prison. Coach Roger Williams at Clarinda were good for. He was good friends with him, and we were all kind of really tied in pretty tight. and we called him Big Country. I mean, he was just a nice guy that he looked like he would hurt you if you did something wrong, but he's really a teddy bear and really kind and gentle, and I think he will be missed in the community and in the school district, and also for his wife Ann. So.
Yeah. Shenandoah, again, you were the activities director there, football coach for a year and a half. I guess looking back on your time there, we won't really get into specifics about that, but I guess talk about some positives in your year there at Shenandoah.
The biggest positive has to be some of the community members that you had the opportunity to meet and work with. The amount of support that was there, as far as the Main Street and the staff. There were some great supporters, in any situation. So, and then after that, the kids was just hand down. It made your job enjoyable because you work with quality kids that really wanted to be there and do the right things.
As far as some thoughts on, do you regret anything from your time at Shenandoah?
I didn't take a lot of vacation time. I should take it. No, I have no regrets, no anything. So it was an experience that you look back on and you say, thank God I experienced it. And because you down the road, 15, 20 years from now, when I'm a head coach again, I'll look back on that experience and say I learned a lot from that experience.
Every job, every time you go through something is a learning experience. What'd you kind of learn in Shenandoah?
I think the biggest thing that you learn, coming from a Shenandoah who hasn't had a lot of success in sports, and then coming to a Kuemper who's had a lot of successes, the gap between the differences. I mean, it really isn't a difference. The only big thing is how much you care as a coach, and how much time and effort your kids put in.
As far as being an athletic director, is that something you want to try again?
No.
Okay.
I was blessed with the opportunity. Mr. Heiser and the school board at the time blessed me with the opportunity to be the AD and to be a head football coach, and that's always my passion and always my goal is to be a head football coach. And so I took that chance and opportunity, and I learned a lot. I had a great secretary, Miss McGinnis, that helped me out, and I totally and loved it. But as far as teaching and coaching is my passion, and that's what God put me on earth to do.
You eat, breathe, and you sleep football. So, I mean, I know you're going to stay in football. Do you want to get back to that top level as a head coach at some point?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's part of the plan, and my wife and I talk about that, and it's an opportunity. It's one that I've learned to be more patient, as Gaylord Schelling calls me. I'm not patient sometimes, to be more patient and learn my experience, learn things from the staff here and from Coach Klein.
Yeah, you want to stay here at Kuemper as long as you possibly can, though. You're not looking to get out of here. I know you're enjoying your time here, right?
Yes, I am.
Talk a little bit more about this Kuemper, this upcoming year, this football season coming up. I mean, we're right around the corner here. You got a lot coming back. Possibility that you guys could be the #1 rated team in the state coming into the season.
We're truly blessed with great athletes here, talented kids. Across the board. We return #1 our starting quarterback and a group on the offensive line with a lot of skill position guys, and our nucleus is back. So we have an advantage, but we have some negatives as far as we got to fill some holes on the offensive line, 2 spots, but we've got a ways to go still.
You're not really too much involved with Hawkeye 10 having footballs in districts, but Hawkeye 10 is going to see some changes this year with St. Albert coming in. Very similar school to Kuemper, just in the fact that it's a private school. It's a lower enrollment school. Your thoughts on the Hawkeye 10 expanding there?
Oh, I think it's fabulous. I think it's a great move. I think it actually increases the competitiveness in the Hawkeye 10. So some of those other teams are going to have to prepare a little bit better and work a little harder at things to beat a St. Albert's in some of the sports like they're dominant, so.
Shenandoah is, and back to them because we're talking about Hawkeye 10 now. When you were there, you kind of came in right at the point where they were still talking about that Hawkeye 10, trying to get out of the Hawkeye 10. Okay. I don't think that's something did you want to get out of that?
No, the Hawkeye 10 is our history. At Shenandoah, Shenandoah is one of the teams that actually led into it. So as far as getting out, that wasn't really a big discussion, and if there was, I wasn't anywhere a part of it. So
sometimes the iron sharpens iron kind of theory there? Is that kind of, that's your theory? Some people have other theories about that Shenandoah just can't compete, but
Right.
you believe they can?
Oh, I seriously think so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at their improvements they made in baseball and even in basketball and across the board track, hands down, they've improved there. So, they're making improvements, and you don't want to set the bar low for the kids to achieve at a low standard. You want to keep it high so the kids can achieve, but it's a horse apiece. But reality is, if you set your bar lower, you're going to achieve lower sometimes.
You've had an interesting story. Chuck Offenberger wrote your story last spring, I believe, and you always battle back. You always battle through adversity. Is that kind of your story? Adversity, battling through adversity.
Well, it's getting kind of old.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those where you battle through it, but you're not battling alone. You've got your kids and your family and your wife to think about, and you do a lot of prayer and wherever God leads you. Because I would not have imagined 4 or 5 years ago being in a Kuemper, in a great community that's so supportive like this, and working with great people to anywhere else. So I'm really lucky.
And you mentioned your family. You're going to be adding another one soon for all the friends that don't know that. You have a lot of friends back there in Shenandoah, Clarinda area. So I guess break the news there.
Yeah, well, Megan and I are expecting our first together, and she's due November 15th, and I'm praying for a little boy, another football player, and Megan's praying for a tennis player, so it doesn't matter. So we're really fortunate and really looking into the future.
How are the other two doing?
Oh, Dante and Donovan.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They're growing. We start our football camp August 5th here at Kuemper, and so Dante's pretty excited to be a Knight, and then Donovan is just old Donovan. He's just going with the flow. So.
All right, PJ. Hey, thanks a lot. We wish you the best of luck in everything that you do, and thanks for taking time out today.
Yep. Thank you.